we're going to be doing is we're going to be going ahead and setting up a battery. Right from our ATVs, our gas ATVs, right up to our motorcycles, you do get a battery installed. Some bikes do come already with the battery installed. This one here, we have to add the liquid to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open it up. There we go. So that's what it's going to look like. You'll notice also in here there's a little band. That's a tie-down battery, or a tie-down strap for your battery for when you put it on your bike. It's nice and stretchable, and that's what holds your battery in. So we're going to look at the things inside. You can read the instructions. Basically what I'm going to do is do everything in the video, so you can just kind of put them aside. We're going to take out this. This is the hardware pack. You're going to notice that there's the bolts for the battery and the nuts for the battery, but then there's a little round red pin in here, and I'll explain what that pin is for too. So we'll put that to the side too. And we're going to pull out our liquid. This is corrosive. This is acid, so you want to be very careful. You don't want to get this on your skin. If you do, flush this water immediately as much as possible. If you see any dark or redness or anything on your skin, get to the doctor as fast as you can. But be very careful with this. We'll set this aside too. I'm going to get the battery out. All right, so this is our battery. We're going to have to pull this tab off. It's just a protective seal to keep dirt from getting into the lead. So we're going to pop this off to the side, put this in our box, move it over. This is a lead-based battery, so what happens when the acid contacts the acid or the lead inside, it creates energy. So, and it holds energy, which is great. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. This is the cap for the battery, so it's going to go on here after we get the acid inside. So we're just going to set it aside too. I'll explain this toolkit too after. Right now what we need is we need that little red pin. Now, put your hardware to the side. With that little red pin, again, careful, hold this in place. You just want to poke some holes in the top here. And there is a method to my madness and why I'm doing this. I tend to use this pin to do that because it it makes it, when you put the battery on top, it makes it punch these holes a lot easier. So kind of sort of flip your battery over like this and put it together like that. Make sure all the ports are in, and then when you get it up, just give it a good hard push down. You're going to see that the acid is slowly leaking in there. So take your pin and poke a hole in the top. When you poke a hole in the top like that, it creates air, so the liquid will flow in a lot faster. Okay, that's the last one done. So all of your acid's going to go into your battery. Now you don't need this pin anymore. You can set it aside, throw it in the garbage. You don't need it. We'll put the protective piece back on it though. All right, so your acid is all drained down. There's nothing left inside. Again, even a drop of this will hurt, so we're going to just be very careful. I always keep my box set aside so I can dispose of everything together. You'll see I did get a little bit of acid. I'm going to just wipe it off. All right, so now we're going to come to our hardware. We're going to need those for these posts, but first we're going to go ahead and put our cover in. And to put the cover in, just make sure your holes are all lined up correctly. And push in, but sometimes it's really stiff. If you find it stiff, the handle of a screwdriver works perfect. It won't hurt anything, and it'll tap it down nice. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to take our hardware. You're going to take that little tiny square, and you're going to make sure, if you look at the square, on one side it's flat. This is the flat side. And on this side, there's a little indent. See? And what you do is you slip the indent up. So when you you put the bolt in, it'll grab the nut by itself. And you're not going to tighten this up tight because you're going to have to put the battery post on. But rather than try to carry these things around, which is really pointless, it's easier to have them already on the battery for when you get to go install it in your bike. So just finger tighten them in so you don't lose any parts. Right, and that's how you do a battery. It will have a small charge when you do put acid in a battery. It gives it a small charge. So if it's enough to start your bike, that's fantastic. You can take it for a drive, then the stator in the bike will charge the battery. If not, take your battery to an AutoZone or any sort of automotive dealer, and they will charge your battery. They usually charge around $5 or $6, but they will charge your battery for you to full power. All right. Okay, so we're going to be putting a battery in an X18 now. It's pretty easy. You need a Phillips screwdriver, and that's pretty well it for now. There's a box on the X18 if you look through the fairings, and it holds the battery in place. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out the screws for that, and we'll lift the cover so we get our battery in place. See, there's a handy dandy little access port here. You can put your screwdriver in and open the top of the tray. There, beautiful. Now I'm just going to go to the other side. It'll be easier than reaching all the way across. Oh my goodness. Oh. Right. And then you can take that cover off. You don't have to necessarily take it out, just kind of set it aside. And you'll notice when they your screws come out, there's two little clips, just like that they fell down. You'll need those when you're done to put under here to put your screws back into. So make sure and keep those. So I'm gonna go to the other side, grab the battery, and we'll get it in place. All right, so here's the standard battery for the X18. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna feed it up through here. Go around that brace up over here. Side is wedge here. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So what I like to do is I like to keep my red for the X18. Just gonna stay off to this side. And my black is gonna go off to the left hand side. First thing we have to do is the same thing as before. We put our bolts in, so we have to take our bolts out. I'll use yours with my left hand. Okay, so we got our bolt out. Your positive and negative cables will come with a little red shroud and black shroud. That's just so no points will touch. If anything touches the top of the battery, it has a little rubber cover on it. So we're just gonna wire it up over so it's a little bit easier on me. Set your post on top. Okay, so I'm just gonna finger that, tighten that in there. I don't want it all the way tight yet. I'll do that with the screwdriver. Okay, now you just go with your star screwdriver or your Phillips. Okay, So yeah, we got our positive done. I'm just gonna go to the left side and put the negative on. And then you go over, you get your cables, kind of put them all down and out of the way. Okay, so we take our nut or bolt out again for the negative side. Slide the sleeve back. Get your bolt started on top of the battery. Okay, that one's nice and tight. So now we're going to put our cover back into place. Oh, got our wire in place here. Oh, before we put our cover in place, I want you to slide those rubber tabs from the sleeves up onto the posts, just in case anything touches in there, and it'll stop corrosion with water. If water gets up in there. Okay. Come on there. Come on. Down there. Okay. Back. All right. Now we've got our cover. Just line it up with the two tabs in the back. And then close it. And then you remember your little piece here, you got to remember to hold it to the bottom when you're using your screwdriver. There you go. And that's it's the same on the other side. I don't need to show you that. So you just, again, you put your screw back in with a little clamp, and that's how you install the battery in an X18.